Welcome to Galactic Grandmother, Heart to Heart. My name is April, and my special returning guest today is Alandra Markman. Alandra is a survivor of the Montauk Project, the secret space program, and satanic ritual abuse. We've done programs before, videos before, which I'll attach below, which takes his childhood from age 4 up to adulthood into account. So you can look at that. But he has used the experiences that he had during his childhood to become a really awesome healer who turns around and helps others that have been through the same experiences he has. So I'm very happy to talk to you today, Landra. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm always so happy to talk to you.
You are amazing, I think, that you have worked so hard to integrate altars and do all the healing work that you've done. I know it's always an ongoing project, but you've come to the point in your life where you're actively helping others. Can you just give us an indication of, I know you have some online things that you do, but the services that you offer people that have suffered the way you suffered previously?
Sure. The most routine and accessible offering is I have a meditation group every week that I host, a guided meditation. I've been working out of a crystal shop here in Mount Shasta, and it's also online, so people can join from anywhere. That's been one of the main things. A lot of pretty intense channelings come through in that context for the group. They've been going for 8 or 9 years now, so it's very rooted. And then yeah, I do a lot of one-on-one work with people, which can take many different forms. Sometimes it's guided meditation, similar to the group. Sometimes it's unpacking trauma-based mind control, which is the general name for all those things that I've survived, space program, ritual abuse, etc. I was trained as a programmer in the trauma-based mind control context. So basically, I work as a deprogrammer now. So I use what I learned for the opposite purpose. So I was trained to break people, and now I help them put themselves back together. So that's the basic thing. Lots of trauma work and memory work and dream work and kind of therapeutic and focus. Officially, I call it coaching. So that's a big part of it. And then spiritual development work of all kinds, naturally. So people want to learn to astral project or whatever sort of spiritual faculty they're interested in stepping into. I'm always into that. So those are the basic things.
And I'm glad I caught you when I did because you've got a big international trip coming up. You want to
Mhm.
speak about where you'll be going on this trip?
Yeah, I'm going to be in East Africa for a couple months. It's a place I've been wanting to go for a long time. I've incarnated there in a few past lifetimes, so it's very familiar to my soul. I'm warmly looking forward to some, soul connection, soul memory. Yeah, I've been called to Tanzania for quite a while, and I'm going to be there finally. Yeah, it's such a cool place. One of my favorite crystals comes from there. It's named after the country Tanzanite.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and I love it so much, asking me to go over there and do some good work. So that's what's going to happen.
And you've got clients and friends over there.
I expect to see a few clients during the trip.
Now, when you do your meditative work, your meditations, they're healing. They're almost like shamanic meditations, right?
Mhm.
In that you bring in and you work with higher consciousness beings. Can you
Mhm.
tell us about who you've been working with lately?
Sure. It's a wide variety. So I've been thinking a lot about different groups that sort of can hold different polarities together, especially masculine feminine polarities. So I work with the Pleiadians and Sirians a lot, with the Pleiadians tending to hold the feminine polarity and the Sirians tending to hold the masculine. That's been really delightful. A lot of that has been grounding through the land that I'm on. So I'm developing a more intimate relationship with this place, and with Mount Shasta, of course, but also with Black Butte nearby and some other local places, tuning into some vortices. Lots of vortex tours around here. So yeah, Pleiadians and Sirians are sort of with me very frequently. In a similar way, Arcturians from the Boötes constellation and Antarians from the Scorpio constellation. So if we're going to call them by their constellations, I guess they'd be Boötians and Scorpions or something. But usually we call them Arcturians and Antarians. Antares is the star which is the heart of the Scorpion, and Arcturus is a very massive star which is in Boötes. And again, it's sort of like the Arcturians are holding the masculine perspective-ish, oversimplifying a little bit, but as a general thing, Arcturians in the masculine role and Antarians in the feminine role. And what they can do together is pretty amazing. So it's a lot of collaboration. That's really what I'm geared towards on a lot of levels. The higher beings are always working in concert in different ways. The council of this, the council of that. A lot of us who channel are pretty familiar with that kind of general feeling because
Uh-huh.
there's so much more collaboration. We're really very strangely isolated at this time on Earth and living in these very disconnected kind of realities on various levels. That's not the cosmic norm. The cosmic norm is more this sort of big picture, all of life tunes in. When beings know that they are part of Creator, God, Goddess, whatever you wish to call it, universal source intelligence, when there's a conscious awareness of that, the potential for mindful embodied collaboration is much greater. And of course, like outside of our immediate Earth situation, this is very common knowledge. Like everybody knows that they are source and that it's just the right hand helping the left hand kind of thing. So that's been a rhythm that I've been in with different groups. Yeah, with holding both sides, holding right brain, left brain potentials for integration. Our bilateral symmetry is not accidental, it's very well thought out. We're an extremely careful design human being. Those are some themes that have been happening. But then also many others coming through. We've talked about Sasquatch. We've talked about the ant people, the mantids. I had a big brigade of insects, basically different insectoid sort of humanoid beings come to my group this past week. And they channeled this really powerful, just delightful, basically mind control clearing transmission. But it was more than just that. It was like clearing our relationship with power as a whole, clearing all manipulations of all kinds and moving into right relationship. Obviously, that's like a big theme for me. So, and I'm very connected to these different insect beings. Some of the Antarians that I mentioned take insect forms, so they usually show up as mantids. Sometimes they show up as canids, like human dog type people. They're different forms, but those are some of the most common. And then we were talking also earlier about the ant people who are pretty widespread in our solar system. And I'd love to get into that a little bit too.
Please
So yeah,
do.